Hey, this is Jan, and thanks for tuning in to my weekly series, SketchaLona, in which I show you some of the sights and sounds of Barcelona, Spain, while I draw to my heart's content, hoping to improve myself ever more as an artist and working on my own personal comic book project, Fosphor. In this week's episode, I get to work after finishing my script for a new issue 1 last week. I hope this week to get some thumbnails down. And thumbnails, if you don't know, they're basically the rough layout sketches for every page so you can get a clear grasp of how the comic flows from one page to the next. Besides, of course, my usual exercises, drawing faces, drawing figures, setting up scenes, either at work or at home. Scenes that I started are like, how should I put it? Hi. Sorry, where was I? It's not every day I actually bump into people and they interrupt me, so that's all cool. So yeah, so I've got my new sketchbooks lined up, and one is the big one, which is for my just learning by absorbing, just by outright copying. So I set up comic book pages for just see what I can just absorb just by doing it myself, you know. The smaller one is going in a really nice new direction because I really want the focus to be on scenes and on inking. So everything has to be inked now. And I find that really tightens up my pencils. And so the scenes I've got going are collages of just, instead of looking for pictures and using search words, I just put on YouTube videos, movies, anything, vlogs. I just grab a scene, people are doing something, they're moving around, and I just kind of put that up and like build it into a collage. So I'll show you that now. My new sketchbook. There it is. This is from yesterday. I really like these little collages, but this eye is bothering me immensely. So, time to put it in Photoshop. And then I just realized that like one of the drawbacks of drawing in Photoshop I find is that I'm never really quite sure about the resolution and the thickness or thinness of my lines and how far I can zoom in. So since I know exactly how big this sketchbook is, if I set up a 600 dpi file to these specifications, then I know exactly what it looks like. This is my trick. Let's see if this works. De kaart AWB. Dan moet u even op menu drukken. En dan kiest u 1. What else has been new? I think that's mostly it. This week is I'm a bit bummed out. Just had something yesterday. Alright, there's the shower I gotta fix, which went out of stock. First I crashed Photoshop. Then I find out that, of course, I didn't save my file. My tool presets that I made yesterday are all gone. And then there was a power cut. So now I'm gonna have to fix that. Fun Friday night times. Let's see if I can make it to the weekend. And now to enjoy the beach. So, night guys. Oh, don't mind the shrubs. all the tourist spots. No thank you. No starving artist here. In today's edition of the Starving Artist, chicken, green beans, and some spinach tortellini. Now, when I say tortellini, of course, I mean the ready-made ones from the supermarket that you plunk in the hot boiling water. You know. Hopefully, this is about 2 meals, so that tomorrow I can get one of them Tupperwares filled up, ready to go to work, so I don't have to spend money in the cafeteria or in one of the restaurants around the place where I work, which aren't super expensive, but you know. Quite frankly, there's one place that is not expensive and reasonably healthy, but I always feel the portions are kind of small. And then there's all the other places which are a little bit more expensive, but better meals, but then it's all grease. So this is my way of not that I need to worry about my weight. Just don't want to clog up on the inside. So here's a brand new page in a brand new sketchbook. I made a little video of my previous sketchbook. If you hadn't seen it, it's up on my channel. And you can check out the whole sketchbook in like 10 minutes. I do have to warn you, the camera work is a little shaky. I'll be sure to next time do it a little bit differently rather than just, you know, as quick as possible. But after last week's epic 40-minute video, I thought I kind of go easy on myself this week with the editing and just get it over and done with as quickly as possible. Hope you don't mind. But yes, I'm off to a good start. I've got some nice figure drawing going on. This portrait in particular I'm quite fond of. I think I really captured the expression. There's still some ink work where for the comic book I don't think it's really going anywhere, but like on its own it came out all right, even if I went a little too dark in some parts, like the eyes right over here. But hey, there's always white out, right? Am I right? Yeah. Good morning, everyone. It's Saturday. I'm having my little breakfast in bed and drawing on my little board, and it's not going well. So let me show you what I'm screwing up. I have this board usually just over there where the cat is, so I can pick it up whenever I want when I'm in bed, and I still want to do a little drawing, but I don't want to think too much about it. I put up an image of one of my 3 patron saint artists, Adams, Charest, Eric Larson. Just start drawing it and just see what I can pick up. And so on this one, it's really I copied the style of his figure, and he goes for this Barbarella type hairdo. Here I was kind of like, it's really the arching eyebrows I borrowed heavily from some of the hair, but this is another fine example of how this kind of really messy art, and I really like the character that comes out here. This comes a lot more natural to me than this kind of more stylized art. I really like the look on this one, but I find this so much harder to get right. I find it so much harder to get the hair to look like a hairdo that actually functions. So after this one, I tried again. So I went over here and I just went a little thicker to just so I can't doodle too much. It doesn't stop me from trying. Cat needs attention. What the hell is that cat doing? And he's eating the tape. Congratulations. So I kind of want to start this new little exercise in Photoshop where instead of just being really annoyed at my drawings because they didn't quite come out right, and a lot of times I can kind of fix them up by just not giving up on them. But I kind of just want to, like after I'm done, like the next day, put them in Photoshop and just, okay, so what is it that doesn't work? What is it that really bothers you? Take it out, draw it again without redrawing the whole thing, just that part, you know, because that's where the magic of Photoshop comes in. So why not put it to good use? So yeah, let's continue on this one a little bit more before heading out, because it is my day off and I need to see a little bit of sunlight. Just trying out some of my new templates. I figured out if I just put a little star in front of them, they're all neatly grouped together. That only took about 6 months before I figured that one out. One more. I also just, I don't know if it's the picture. No, it's not the picture. Some of the pens are not actually perfectly black, if that makes sense. Some of them are actually a little lighter or brown even, especially the thinner ones, because there's definitely black lines in here, so that's a kind of a fun observation. It's also kind of interesting to be drawing on top of my traditional art on paper, because it really pulls me into the whole drawing the same idea, if that makes sense. Because usually I find that I draw differently in different mediums, so when I go digital I tend to draw like you know, just keep tracing it, you know, like instead of picking up, then like, if that makes sense at all. So I've got my script up for my comic book, and it's time to do a little thumbnailing, and I don't know how to start, and I'm a little bit like, that's like 3 blank pages to stare at. Okay, so it's 12 o'clock. It's 12 o'clock. So what I'm trying to show is the start of a day. This is actually the comic book page, and then I just kind of got carried away, which is okay. I like the layout design like that. I'm wondering if I can actually keep it. I suppose if this is small enough. What I was trying to do here was Anne waking up and getting all dressed up. Waking up the taskmaster with a cup of coffee, and then opening the curtains to the very cramped living quarters of the scavenger kids, the labor force. And by cramped, I mean they're all sleeping together on the floor, under the sink, there's a million toothbrushes, that kind of thing. But I kind of like this layout now that it just kind of came about like this. So I hope it's legible for you guys. Like, this is a face, there's another face. We good? Okay. In episode 2 of The Starving Artist, I'm going to make some albondigas. These are some very typical Spanish meatballs. They're very nice. Let's find out if they're any good. Sauce. I always have to think of Laudo, my Italian friend who I worked with for many years in London, and who then moved to Amsterdam, who was actually from Bologna, and it turned out there's no such thing as pasta bolognese. It's just something people made up outside of Italy, which is good. It's still tasty though. Makes you wonder about New York cheesecake and Dutch apple pie. Laundry's ready. I need this one. And I think that's it. Cat needs food, as always. So I've got 2 pages thumbnailed. Took way too long. It took about 50 minutes. So I'm overthinking it. So I'm gonna have lunch and then I'm gonna have another go. See if I can do another half an hour to an hour and just a little bit faster. Yeah. Do we even have? No. Man, this is gonna look like cat food by the time I'm done. So here we are. I'm thinking, I've put a separate paper here to note my ideas, but so what I'm thinking is, instead of keeping this layout, which I thought was cool with like a couple panels here and then keeping this, the story being told here and here is gonna go on a separate page, because I came up with a new idea, which is kind of hinted at in this really tiny panel, because I thought the page was gonna be this big. So I'm kind of expanding on a little backstory for Anne, and then allowing that to contrast with her on the floor as a supervisor assistant type to the taskmaster, who's, you know, being his cruel self that they're sweating over and afraid of as they're clocking in to get started on their job, sorting out the junk they find. I want to have a big shot of their workspace, them doing the actual job, and kind of showing what it is they're looking for, and finding something and finding something else, and like the difference and what it means. So a little bit of an argument, because some people are doing a really good job and some people are doing a really shitty job, which then goes to tell a little bit more backstory about where they are, but also show the taskmaster in full force. Like, who is he? What does he do? And like, this is him doing his job. These kids are kind of like, they're little slaves, okay? They've been sold off by their parents or whatnot, or whatever reason, but they've kind of come into this workforce, and of course they're free to go. The door is right there. Anytime you want to leave, you don't like it, get out. So this one decides to make a run for it. And so at the very last, from the other side, he's stopped by a character who's over here. So why would he want someone else to, why would this guy sweating over the taskmaster, who clearly doesn't like him and boasts of not being afraid of him, but secretly are, why would he help him here? Because there is no escape. That's the whole, like, the psychology of the place is such that, yeah, this place sucks, and like, you know, but you're not getting out because there's nowhere to run to. And then I want to contrast that with his character later on, by showing him more like a father figure. Like, here is a real cruel taskmaster, if you will. But at the same time, like, they're all stuck in this place. Like, none of them are getting off. And so it's kind of like he has to be a father figure to all of them, you know? So it's kind of like he's a real tough love kind of guy. But he does have this tender side to him that I kind of want to show off on a different page. Everyone, took a little break. And today, Sunday, I've pretty much drew all day. This takes a lot longer than I thought it would. Like, I just envisioned myself like sketching super rough and just going and like reorganizing and doing another take, and then it's still rough, but I put in a lot more thought than I thought I would. So basically I took whole day to finish my entire script that I wrote, and I think the 10 pages of my comic that I already finished in July, though I'm gonna have to probably redo them in some fashion, but the story in it and the layout of most of it can kind of follow on this. And that means I've got pretty much a whole issue. It is pretty much a whole day from start to finish, and the focus all of a sudden is on a different character. Unintentional, because it was just supposed to be a day, but there's a definite beginning and end of a day for one character in particular. So that's cool. I can deal with that, with her being more of a focal point in the beginning. But these are things I'm kind of discovering as I go along. Like, so yeah, it's fun. So I'm looking forward to redoing this in Photoshop and adding a little bit more color so it's a little bit more clear, because it is a little too crazy in parts. So yeah. All in all, pretty productive day. So once again, thanks for watching. If you like these videos, hit like, subscribe. There's more coming. Once a week, every Sunday, I put one up. If the cat doesn't eat the cable, like he likes to do. Anyway, enough with the cute cat videos. So yeah, I'll see you guys online.